motherfucker, that's where I stay.
On the south side, we stay paid, motherfucker.
Hey, what's the word, everybody? You already know it's your boy ET here. Enough Talk Podcast, bringing y'all another one, another interview, and this is one of our the second giveaway winners from Instagram when we did our giveaway. You know what I'm saying? Little first giveaway. It's the second one. Kiy Laeson.
Yes.
Yeah. I almost fucked up. Kiy Laeson. I almost fucked up with the Laeson part. Laeson. Kiy Laeson. You want to give him a little brief of who you are?
Again, I'm Kiy Laeson. I am an R&B, pop, little bit of rap artist.
Okay.
From Lafayette, Louisiana. I was born out here in Houston, but I was raised in Louisiana. Yeah.
That's fire though. Nah, for real. So yeah, we always start off with where people from. You want to let them know, even though you gave them a little brief, but we want to dive into it. So you was born out here in Houston?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to let them know when before you went to Louisiana?
I was about 2, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
I don't really remember.
Oh, so you was just born out here?
Yeah.
And then went to Louisiana immediately?
Yeah, that's where most of my mom's family was, and I was raised by my mom.
Okay, that's wild. That's different. You want to let them know growing up in Louisiana?
Growing up in Louisiana, it was, I guess, just like a regular kid. Not much. I've always done music, so since I could make words or really move as much as a kid can, I've always been interested in music.
Okay, that's nice. That's different though. Okay, Louisiana. So, you started your musician or your musical out there? Musical journey out there?
Yes.
What was it that introduced you into music? Or inspired you to do music?
It was kind of the inevitable for me. My family is big into music. I have singers in my family. I have people that do film. I have people that do dance.
Mm-hmm.
I have people that do pretty much anything creative. So
basically art-wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my dad was a producer for a very long time. So
okay, yeah, that's nice. And you know what? People should be aware that Louisiana has their musical culture, art culture. You know, even I want to say art because when they do the second lines, I think it was called second or what's the lines called? You know, when they do their musical little parades type.
I have.
You never been to a second line or
I'm not really. I was raised in Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I never really paid attention to much.
Oh, okay. But I'm aware of they basically musical art culture. Other than just
they do have
Creole
big,
type.
Yeah.
Yeah, they active with it too. Matters when it comes with the dance, the music, the bands, you know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff though. But okay, so you say your family basically inspired you or it's in y'all genes, genetics of just music. So when it came down to your first, when was it when you had your first musical moment, your first song, your first probably performance, or probably was in a choir, or you know?
When I first saw Chris Brown.
Chris Brown?
That was really what was I want to be him.
Yeah.
Cause it was, I don't know, it was just something about the way that he presented himself as an artist, his musical talent, the fact that he could dance, sing, rap, do all these things that I always felt like I had inside of me, but I wasn't really paying attention to it until when I first saw him.
Okay. Then when did it came to you first produce, do your first musical activity?
I used to do talent shows in school.
There we go, like that.
I think my first talent show was first grade.
Dang. And in the talent show, you were singing or rapping?
Yeah, I was singing and dancing.
Okay, singing and dancing. Okay, that's nice. And then from there, you was I want to start this journey.
Yeah.
So when did it get to where you really did even though talent show is serious, But when like you made your first recording?
My first recording was in high school, my senior year. That's when I first like actually got in the studio and was like, okay, I'm going to record this. I'm already in Performing Arts Academy in high school, so why not just finally kind of take a little more serious?
Okay, because at first you was just fun, hobby, doing it from the talent shows to probably at home in the mirror singing, rapping type, or...
Yeah, I started taking it more serious when after middle school, I decided that I wanted to audition for the Performance Academy for high school. So I got into that thanks to one of my middle school vice principals. He became a vice principal at the high school that I ended up going to.
And this is all in Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Lafayette High, and they had Performing Arts Academy connected to the high school.
That's different. That's different right there. All right, and then after that performing arts experience, where do you go from there? You become like, leading to become a real artist.
After high school, I kind of took a break.
Okay.
It was just like a lot was going on after high school.
Real
I was
life.
trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. Then 2 years later, I decided to get in the studio again, and I recorded my first song, "Shade of Me," and that's when I started doing like showcases and stuff.
Okay, that's fine. You say, what year was it again? I probably misheard. What year did you say when you did your first single?
I did my first single in 2020, I want to say. 2020, 2021.
So you got serious with your artistry during Corona time, basically, huh? Or before Corona?
Like, right, I want to say like right before Corona, right after everything opened back up, really, that's when I did my first single.
Okay. Yeah, and then how did that experience, how did the experience go of you creating your first single? Because that first project, you want it super perfect, it's gonna work you know what I'm saying?
It was
First
honestly,
presentation, basically.
It was an eye-opener. I think it was really, it made me realize that I wanted to really take it seriously.
Okay.
Like, that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That's when I knew that I actually could make some good music.
Was it like the feedback? Was it like the errors? What was it that, specifically that made you feel like, yeah, I can do this, I can? Is people playing? Is it like your feedback of the listeners?
It was feedback, but it was mostly when I heard the finished product, and it was exactly what I had been wanting.
That's right.
From myself as an artist.
Okay, that's what's up. So your first project came out exactly like what you wanted it to be. And a lot of people, that's really rare, because like just seeing of me back then and being around like bros and partners high school time and them creating music, because I was a promoter. I wasn't no rapper or artist or nothing like that, but I have the executiveness, right? Like, being around my bros and them and giving them little tips and all of that, and creating that stuff, creating a single, or a first project, that shit is something serious. For real, to where like they even tell me, man, you could say some little phrases or this and that, something cool, and get in there and premature rap. No, I'm not doing that. Y'all got it. Y'all got it as artists. Y'all do y'all thing. So, and your first single was an R&B single or rap?
It was like R&B pop, much like my recently released album. It was kind of like my recently released album was an ode to that first single. Okay. Because it was very like that pop, R&B, early 2000s, 2010s type of feeling. So.
Okay. That's fire though. That's fire. That's different. That's different right there. And okay, now, when at your singles, you got your first single. When do it lead into you performing your first, or just performing your first performance?
My first performance after taking it serious was it was just like a little showcase in the neighborhood
Okay.
at a club that I had somebody told me about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do it.
Okay.
I got a good reaction from the crowd, and that was even more reassurance. So it was like every time I got on that stage, it was a different person than the person that I had been all my life. It's like it turns on a switch when I get on the stage.
To make you get in full character mode, real artistry, character mode, to give the, because you perform too, like with dance and all of that too, like how you say similar with the talent show of what you've been doing. Yeah, so you give them a real performance, then just basically rapping the lyrics and all of that type. Give them a real stage present performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. With that like first performance, was you like skeptical, scared? Like how is your mental going?
I always have had kind of stage fright.
Yeah.
I didn't really leave that in the back of my mind until like when I released this album.
Okay.
But I've always like dealt with like stage fright and being nervous, even though I've been performing since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like it was always worrying about what other people would think. And when I finally let that go, that's when I was able to like really be able to
just go all in. It is what it is. Yeah, because that's what I was gonna ask too. What created the stage performance? And you said it though already, or how people think or whatever. Other people got stage performance of them forgetting the lyrics, them falling, or forgetting steps or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or that's different though. So what can I say next of just ask you, when do we lead? So for your artist career, when do you transition to coming to Houston? Because it sounds like you've been doing most of your artistry, like in the beginning, probably you took it serious in Louisiana.
Yeah. I had ended up, after doing so many showcases, I had spent like a few $1,000s altogether on just doing showcases and doing showcases.
You let them know the artistry is expensive. Being an artist is expensive. Investing,
I found when I was where I was at in Louisiana, there wasn't a big scene for R&B pop artists and stuff like that. It was mostly rappers or like they have the scene for the jazz singers.
Correct, the bands and stuff.
It wasn't really room for like the artists that want to do more like Chris Brown, Leo, Mario type of music. So I had ended up taking like another year or two break from doing music because I felt like I was just losing myself in trying so hard to force myself into spaces that I really didn't feel welcome in.
I understand. And when you say a welcome, like how would you like? How would these expressions, or what can I say? Like how would you know that you wasn't, being welcome or appreciated in?
It would be, of course, I would get like the "you did good" or whatever, that was fire or whatever. But it was realizing that people would say I was good, but then it would be like after that moment, it would just be other attention to it.
Okay.
So I was like, well, okay, I'm just gonna take a break. I'm gonna work on a full project, and then that's when I decided to take my break, and then I came to Houston last year in January, and I just been stepping on the gas since then.
Okay. Well, when did your first visual? Where did you did your first visual out there, Louisiana or out here?
My first music video was in Louisiana.
Okay.
Of course, I directed it and stuff, but it was just something like just to say that I had a music video out because everybody had their music videos out, and I was like the only artist around me that did not have a music video at all. So I was just like, okay, let me do a little music video, get that out there. Boom, I put that out. It wasn't really a big deal to me. It was just like I just need to get it out. I didn't have my first serious music video until I started working on the album.
Okay. And then we can lead into where the part of when the album is getting worked on. When is this? What year? What time span is this?
That album.
And you only have one album?
Being worked. Yeah, that was my first album. That one had been being worked on since before I took that break. So it had been like, by the time I released my album last year, it was 3 years in the making.
Yeah, because you were saying around 2020 your first single, so I'm sure that's where you took a break.
I took a break after 2021 is when I released my first EP.
Okay.
Light Past Midnight. That was that one.
Okay.
And then after that EP, that's when I took a break, but I was still working on my album. But I wasn't really doing shows or promoting my music or anything like that.
Okay. Though for the music you had out already, basically.
Yeah.
Saying what you were saying, like you wasn't working on that or whatever, following up with that. Okay, and then the album that you just released last year, what's the name of it?
It's Factor.
Factor.
Yes.
Okay. So what made you, title it that?
I just realized a lot of my life decisions were made by me thinking with my heart more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I dealt with a lot internally as a kid, so I finally started to get to the point where I could think. I was still thinking with my heart, but I was thinking a little bit smarter. I was making better decisions based on my experiences.
I was about to say that based off your experiences, you knew better.
Yeah.
Type and was making better decisions. Yeah. Okay. And then it leads into Factors out. I know that you said also that a Deluxe is on the way. How many singles is on the original?
10.
10?
Yes.
Okay. What's your most? I asked Janae Inez this. What's your most stressful song on there? The one that you like, the one that made you like put that creativity and that work in to make sure that it comes out.
It was Inside. That's pretty much everybody's when they hear it. They're like, oh yeah, that song.
Okay.
So that was the one that I put the most work into. That was the one I realized after letting people listen to it, I was like, okay, I guess this is the one I have to do a video for, because I want to do a visual that represented the whole album, but I wanted to use one of the songs. So that was the song that I chose. Okay.
Inspired. Now let's get into your creativity. With the fashion, with the directing, your directing and producing, executiving, your craft from singles, visuals to even how your performance. Where you get the creativity from?
Honestly, watching Beyonce probably out of everybody, because it was how much that she had control over in her art. When she does her tours, she sits there, does the whole stage set. She's there for all of the performance mixes, all of the songs, how everything's going to be arranged. She's in with the choreography. She's in with every little piece of everything that she does. And I've always wanted to be that very in control of my artist.
Because it's you, the whole setup and setting and music to the performance to the visuals is about you. You know what I'm saying? It's the artistry is about you and your art, your expression, experiences, creativity, thoughts, the relatability, all of that. So I can understand that if you want to be hands-on with your work. There's some people out there, they don't have that. They only can be lyrical or they only would know how to rhyme or sing, but they don't have the creativity to actually produce every piece of, you know what I'm saying, their work or their category of what they are type. But no, that's nice though. And yeah, Beyonce, she's for sure that queen diva to make sure, you know, and that creative to express the culture, to express the race, to express even the gender or the style or whatever it is that she putting out. So yeah, I can only imagine how creative you'll get studying her type, you know. But yeah, nah, that's nice though. Okay, we get back to the album. So you've been doing performances. I saw you was it South by Southwest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was an official artist for South by Southwest under HTX Music Mondays. Thank you again to them. This was my first year at South by Southwest.
Okay, how
so
did
it was kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, because you don't know what to be expected, huh?
Especially after being off of the scene for so long and just releasing an album. It was like, since the album, a lot has been happening very fast. And it's scary, but it's like, I feel like it's my time now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's nice though. Okay, so after that experience, what's your next mission? What's your next plan? Of course, you know we got the Deluxe on the way.
Yes.
You preparing, or you got some visuals out for the album?
I just started working on the cover yesterday. I do all of my own album covers. I create my own album covers. The album is going to be called Factor the Vision. So it's an extension more into my mind and my visual process of who I am as an artist.
Okay. Yeah. No, what I was asking was that do you have any visuals out yet for the album, or is that what your process doing?
I don't have. Yeah, I'm working on the visuals right now.
Okay.
I just spoke to an artist that I'm featuring on one of the songs for the album, so we're going to be working on that first music video very soon.
Okay, yeah, that's nice though, and yeah, no, that's super nice. What else is for 2025 other than the Deluxe and like I say, visuals? What else you got planned? You don't want to give them all of it. Just give them a little.
I have some stuff coming up. I got asked to headline my own show.
Okay. Yeah.
In May.
Yeah, that's one thing. May
31st.
Oh, I thought you had said that was in March 31st. I was like, yeah, that shit should be around the corner or something. But yeah, May, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I'm working on that right now along with the Deluxe album. So right now I'm taking a break from like the shows and everything to really hone in and focus on those two big projects because it's a lot.
Then, you know, that's the first half. You know, you got a whole nother half after that.
Exactly.
So that's cool. And then we finna be in the second quarter. You know what I'm saying? First 3 months, you I guess revamped. Well, not revamped, but like dropped the album last year. This year, you know, got to do some performances of the song, South by Southwest experience, and now, you know, the next quarter you working on your show and the Deluxe album and more visuals. Ain't nothing wrong with that though, you know, because I know people that be trying to do everything. I'm one of the people that with this enough talk of just doing everything in ones, all these categories, and you know what we record or do or produce or publish or whatever. And one step at a time is what I'm learning now with this year. You know what I'm saying?
I had to slow myself down because I realized that even though I can do a lot at once, it gets very stressful and you begin to lose yourself sometimes in trying to do all of that at once. You lose the passion. Some days you're just like, okay, I don't want to do this today.
Yeah, I'm doing too much of this shit. For real.
So it's like I had to be like, okay, I'm going to take a break focus on the Deluxe
Yeah.
and focus on the show. After the show, I plan on doing music videos for most of the songs on the Deluxe throughout the year.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire, man. But yeah, you got your next missions, like I said. Is there anything else we missed? I don't think we hit everything, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you got any little last information for them, you know.
Factor Division, the
Yeah.
Deluxe album will be out in May of this year.
Okay.
I'll give y'all a date very soon as I finish it.
Yeah.
But that will be out in May. Y'all come see me at Artist Access Unplugged on May 31st. I will be headlining the show. You guys will get 45 minutes with me. Yeah, and just be looking out for me because I'm going to give y'all a show on y'all screen and a show in person every single time.
That's fire. Heck yeah, man. And you can give me your platforms too. Veronica will give me your platforms where your music is at, where the Factor, even the EP visuals, give them all of that.
Y'all can go and stream my new album Factor and my later EP Light Past Midnight on streaming platforms at Kiy Laeson, KIYLAESON. Y'all can follow me on social media at KIYLAESON, all one word. Thank y'all so much.
Hey man, tap in Kiy Laeson, right?
Yes.
Not Leeson, Kiy Laeson.
Kiy
A lot of people be saying Leeson.
Yes. People say Kiy Laeson.
Kiy, yeah, that too. Kiy.
I'm like, I know I'm from Louisiana, but I'm not trying to be French. I promise y'all. I promise y'all I'm not.
Hey man, Kiy Laeson, appreciate you.
Thank
Appreciate you for
man.
even engaging in the giveaway. Like I was skeptical about that. That was like my first, time doing it. I always wanted to do a giveaway, but doing that got the engagement and reactions and stuff. And you see now we're here, and this ain't the first though. Like I said, I see that you know some familiars. I see out there you was with One Sound Vibe and them and South by Southwest. So yeah, man, I'm sure we'll see you again. And we appreciate you all the way.
Thank you for having me.
Heck yeah, y'all tap in again. Kiy Laeson. Hey, that's enough talk for them.